Hi, all, and welcome to the Truth, Honour, and Integrity Show. Right, another packed week. Lots of interesting bits of news around the world. Some interesting pieces to cover. Exposés, all the usual. First thing, a couple of things I need to mention is we're not posting any more shows on YouTube as of this week. And despite them backtracking on our ban, which was for 2 weeks, funny how that always comes up, after I had complained against it, they reversed it and apologised, which is interesting in and of itself. Now, there is a link from YouTube to our designated show website now that goes from YouTube, and the links for all the shows will be posted 1 or 2 days before the next show on there. So you don't have to wait for the YouTube archive or be on our social media pages to get the links anymore. It is posted on our website, thi-show.com. We've got all the shows on there, from Russia with Love, Plus. The expose series is about to go up, and the events that changed the world, the full disclosure of the ET on its section of its own, and we'll be adding more shortly, including transcripts. I also hear now that BitChute is now censoring shows, and it's all too predictable, and why we went with our own website. Now, there has been a number of payments rejected for both the TPC and my Patreon or PayPal accounts due to credit or debit cards being out of date. Can you please check your cards, as we both rely on those donations to help matters. And once again, thanks to all who continue to support both myself and also the TPC, and a special thanks to Todd. Final thing before we go into the opening piece, there is an awful lot of energy vampirism ongoing now, and I'm asking all members and listeners to be aware of that. So as we head towards the anniversary of the lockdown, the one thing that has become clear is the division between the people. The two worlds I spoke of back in 2015 has become more clearer by the day. And the world is sadly full of weak Milgram experiment bots, all too willing to give up their freedoms and basic human rights to abide by pre-selected politicians and a 20 to 52-inch box of plastic with puppets reading scripts prepared for them by the criminal misnomer and oxymoron called the intelligence agencies. All the conspiracy theorists, which is a fake label created by the same intelligence agencies to stifle people who dare to think for themselves, have been proven right. But the problem is weak people don't like being wrong, which is why they allow their new parents to look after them, the government, as then it is their fault if it goes wrong. Well, actually, it's not the government's fault, it's the people's fault. And that is what those people are missing. Take this country as an example. There is 330 million people in this country, and yet we blame 550 people for the malaise or downturn. Where is our input into it? Do we actually make them accountable with our money? No. Do we tell them to stop wasting money on Israel, wars, or dangerous research that only harms the people? Sadly, again, no. And therein lies the problem. We have the government we have because we, the people, have played no part in it or insufficient. The world is in crisis, people will say. No, it's the people in crisis. By not being personally responsible for themselves, never mind anybody else. The elites have proven you don't need loud wars with guns and bombs when you can do a silent war with propaganda and techno jabs. And this has been the silent war. And sadly, the masses of the people themselves imposed their own lockdown, or to put it clearly, martial law. If people had backbone in sufficient numbers and supported the so-called conspiracy theorists, this silent war of lockdowns, techno jabs, social distancing would not have taken hold. It would have been over before it started. I saw a video of someone visiting their elderly and infirm father at a care home this week in the UK. Heart-wrenching. Looking at each other from either side of a window, and the father clearly struggling to understand why his daughter couldn't come in and hug or speak to him. All whilst some over-officious Jobsworth, revelling in their new powers of so-called authority, stood by and allowed it. And I don't care if they are your orders. What is right and what is wrong is known to us all, and it is a cop-out to then blame authority speak, when we all know what is right or wrong. Elderly people in their last throes of life denied access to their loved ones and families, whilst the people in and on the TV all carry on like nothing's happened. Because in reality, life for them hasn't changed one iota. The Mardi Gras, for a political statement in Australia, went ahead with thousands attending. This superb owl event went ahead. Why? Because they like to take the piss. And it feeds the greed and mind control machine called advertisers. Again, with people attending. But families can't visit their loved ones. Something is seriously amiss here. Where was the outcry for allowing the superb owl event to have attendees, whilst everyone else has restrictions? And the divide between the people who think and those who don't is very wide now, and I don't see it closing up this generation. It will get wider, and perhaps the phasing and shifting will increase to accommodate it. So that means all who are thinkers have to step up more and balance it. We are all we have got. We all have to give it our best shot. We all have to step up and own it, and all must contribute in the best way for us to go forward. And we will go forward, and so none of our efforts are wasted against what seems an impossible task. But it's only an impossible task if you focus on their world. For our world, it's not impossible, but I'm possible. Big difference. The work we put in now determines our future and is never lost or pointless. How much we all put in now determines how bright our futures are on a personal and collective level.